Hello everybody, welcome to Lesson 4. This week we are finishing up our second unit for the course, Thinking About the Self. You will be workshopping for the first half of the week the This I Believe essays, and then for the last part of the week you'll be reworking those and then recording them so that you can submit a podcast of you performing your This I Believe essay Saturday by midnight. So that's what's on the docket for this week. Again, we'll be finishing up Thinking About the Self. Next week we move into Thinking About the Other. We'll start a new project. But just a couple of things I wanted to point out. Let's see here. The writing workshop again. You should have your first draft of your This I Believe essay posted in this space here, over here, pointing at it. The writing workshop by midnight tonight. And then by midnight Wednesday, you'll need to have feedback given to at least 3 peers by midnight Wednesday. So that's first half of the week, writing workshops. Now let's see here. This in the lesson goals, it says that you need to record a polished version of your beliefs as a Jing screencast. But as I mentioned before, in my lesson 2 introduction to this project, it doesn't have to be done in Jing. If you have audio recording software, you can record it MP3 easily readable format or other easily readable format. You can use your own software, or I have also given you some suggestions in my lesson 2 notes. For some reason they're not pulling up right now. But those are, you can use SoundCloud, recordmp3.org. Here we go. SoundCloud, Vocaroo.com, and recordmp3.com. So those are three online resources that you can use as well. Or if you want to use Jing, you can do that. Just know that Jing records your screen just like I'm doing right now, and these only record audio. So it depends on what you want to do with your essay and how you want it to come across and to be performed. So those are just some notes on you working up your This I Believe essay. We're focusing on revision this week, obviously. Last week we had the 3-cluttered pigs exercise, which was to help you kind of get warmed up to revising your own essay, to taking out unnecessary items and to making it clear and concise, and to show readers your belief more than just telling them your belief. So using description instead of explication, things like that. You'll get more of those resources this week in the prepare document. It will lead you to those resources. And really that's kind of all we have on the docket for the week. Pull up the writing workshop. I've left a note here that I don't want you to respond to everyone in the group because you'll all be posting in the same space, but that you respond to just 3. Now I want you to find people who have who have not yet been responded to, so that everyone gets an equal portion of feedback throughout the week. And be sure to follow these guidelines that are right here, the feedback guidelines. It will help you in articulating your responses to your peers' essays. Now along those lines, I was reading this morning Doctrine and Covenants, section 52. And this is June 1831. They've just concluded a conference of the church. They've ordained some high priests and other things like that. And in this, the Lord is giving some direction on how to interact with other church members and other people. Now, verse 16 really stood out to me here. He says, the Lord says to Joseph Smith, "He that speaketh, whose spirit is contrite, whose language is meek and edifieth, the same is of God, if ye obey mine ordinances." Now I was thinking about this in relation to the writing workshops we have this week, that you'll be speaking to each other, you're sharing feedback, you're critiquing each other's work, but I think we need to do so as we speak with each other, as we share language with each other. We need to use language that is meek and that edifies others, language that builds people up. Now this doesn't have to be always, "Oh, I really like this is awesome." But you can edify someone, you can build them up by giving them constructive feedback that will help them in constructing a stronger statement of their belief. So that's my spiritual thought for the week here. When we speak with each other, when we write to each other, we should be contrite, we should be humble, and that our language should be meek and it should edify, it should be persuasive, like Doctrine and Covenants 121. No power or influence can or ought to be maintained by virtue of the acts of language, only by persuasion, by long-suffering, by gentleness and meekness, and by love unfeigned. So keep these things in mind as you interact with each other, not only during the writing workshops, but in your day-to-day life and in the other interactions we have in the class, in an online and a real-world environment. So that's my thought for the week. If you have any questions, please do feel free to let me know. My inbox is always open.